Hey everybody, this is Thunder Hands. My friends call me Thunder. I want to talk today about the specter of corporate America. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this is because basically it affects everybody that walks on this planet and particularly in this country. And it is a specter. It's ruthless, is what I'm saying. Now, everything is a corporation here. Even the United States of America is a corporation and it owns you, okay? But you're not part of the elite club that they have at the top. Now, what's happening is you have all these companies like Google and Microsoft and Monsanto, and the list goes on and on and on. It's all corporations. Now with corporations you have banks, okay? And they're virtually one and the same. The banks and the corporations, because they work hand in hand to do what? To make money. How do they make money? Illegally, for the most part. I mean, they have this front, okay, where you think, oh, this is just a regular business organization, but behind the scenes in the back channels with the politicians and the high rollers and the money people, they're all talking, they're all making deals, they're all committing illegal acts. And I'm talking about things like money laundering, accepting money from foreign countries, Ponzi schemes, which are, financial schemes to rip people off. They're creating bubbles, what we call bubbles in the financial field. And so you have your housing bubble, and you have your currency bubble, and you have your commodities, which are dealt on the New York Stock Exchange. So you have all these different things happening where these bubbles are getting bigger and bigger. Why? Because the money isn't there. Okay, the government is broke. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know it, they're printing $85 billion a day. Excuse me, a month. Probably will be a day, but but when it gets that bad, you can forget it. It's almost worse than that now. But what I'm saying is $85 billion a month. You can research this. You don't have to take my word for it. Propping up banks. And these banks are called the too big to fail. In other words, if these banks fail, then the economy and the government and the monetary system and all that stuff will go down in flames. Now, what these corporations are doing are they're using people. Okay, there's a lot of things going on like home foreclosures, ways to figure out how to get people out of certain housing developments, the low income, taking low income housing and turning it into high priced condos and phasing out the seniors and the elderly and the vets and the uh, whoever lives in there, whoever has the need. Let me say I know this because I'm experiencing it. So that's all I have to say about that, except that it's first-hand knowledge. Okay. So it gets to the point where people just become like grist for the mill, you know, put you in the meat grinder, that type of thing. And it's all for their benefit, okay? And like I said before, they're doing things like laundering money and making illegal contributions behind the scenes to like this politician. You know, it could be Obama, it could be the Democrats, or it could be, somebody in the on the other side in the Republicans. And I've talked about this before, the divide and conquer thing and the gaming and the lies. And the funny part about it is if you go and try to figure out what's going on, or who's who or who's doing what, you're never going to find out, because you'll run into what I call a brick wall. Okay? And then if you try to talk to these people, they are coached to make you think that they don't know anything. Okay? And they will either give you a nebulous answer or no answer at all. So I just want to make people aware that the real specter of everything, the real cause of, like, even the planet, even what's going on in the planet with the fracking and the nuclear power plants blowing up and them not telling us the truth, and weather, and all the things that are going on the planet right now that are not kosher, that are not good for the planet, are being done by these corporate people. Now, I've even heard it said, and I don't know this to be fact, but I have researched it a little, more than a little. So when I talked about the government being a corporation and it owning us, our physical body, the minute we're born, okay, because when you are born, you have on your birth certificate your name, and it's printed in capital letters. And anything that's printed in capital letters is like, anytime you get a legal document or a bill, look at it. Your name will all be in capital letters. There won't be a small, like if your name's Roger, it won't be Roger with a small r, it'll be Roger, all in caps with your middle and surname or last name. So anytime you get a bill, anytime you get a legal notice, anytime you get anything, your name is all in capital letters. And so it's a legal sign, okay? You have to look for these things, that you are indebted by means of the debtor society that we call the government of the United States. And you are owned by the government of the United States. And from the day you're born, they calculate how much you're worth monetarily to them. And if it changes through your life, well, then they recalculate it. If you become rich, then they'll go back and go, oh, this. So basically, we're all merchandise. But that's because we let ourselves be merchandise. That's because we buy into it. Either that, or we're just ignorant of the fact that this is what's happening. Okay? So we're all merchandise, we're all owned, but we don't have to be, because we're free spirits, and there's ways to get around being owned. And this thing with the social, I'll get it out, Social Security, is a number that we received, and we thought that it just had to do with work. And it says on there not to be used in any other form. When you first got it, when I was 16 years old or whenever, not to be used for other than your work. It's not to be used as an ID or to check on you. Well, that's long gone. That's the first thing they ask you, is your Social Security number. So it's almost like a prison ID number. You know, they'll probably tattoo it on your wrist at some point, or your forehead, or wherever. Then they'll just run the barcode across there. I know this sounds sobering, but it's the truth. And if you don't believe me, then you can do your own research. Never believe anything I say. Do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. But thunder tries to keep things pretty much truthful, okay? And if it isn't, it's because I'm ignorant, and but I research a lot of things, okay? So because of, like some of the circumstances that I'm going through and experiencing right now, I always go, well, how can I help other people? How can I let them know about what's happening in the world and what could happen to them and what could happen to their home, or what could happen to their 401k, or what could happen to their pension plan, because it's about survival, okay? So that's basically how everything works, okay? It's not on a spiritual level, it's on a physical level, okay? In this realm that we live in, this illusion, this society, okay, that has been created by the spin masters, like the mainstream media, for instance. Now, the mainstream media, CBS, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever you watch, is controlled, has an agenda, because they're owned by corporations. And some of the corporations seem to lean more towards that political realm of either being Republican or Democrat, or in between somewhere, nebulous, or who knows. So you constantly have not only the propaganda of the news telling you lies, propaganda lies, same thing, but they also have an agenda for either one party or another party, or for their corporation, or they're doing what their corporate people tell them to say in order to either prop up, the financial situation, or to support a certain partisan cause. Okay, so we're all like puppets if we listen to them, because they're puppets. Okay, that's the thing. The thing is that these people are puppets, and they're being used by the puppet masters to give out information and a consciousness. It's more than just information, it creates a consciousness of anxiety, fear, slavery, whatever you want to call it. And they use this. They use this to create fear. Okay, and it's called, and anytime you purposely use anything to create fear, it's called psychological warfare. So it's just as real as physical warfare, and sometimes it's even worse. Most of the times it's worse, because it molds who you are. Okay? And it molds you into a situation where they control you. and they use you as their slave. There is no abolishment of slavery. Every person is a slave. Period. End of story. Sorry to inform you that, but that's the way it is. And I think we all know that deep down. So we work within the bounds of this slavery, or this, I would even call it, incarceration in a large area instead of a small one. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you panic? Do you run around with, like a chicken with your head cut off? Or do you just look at the situation? And that's the reason that I'm presenting this information, is it so you will know about how everything operates, because it can be rather confusing. Most people don't know anything about finances because they didn't go to school and become a financial expert. Most people don't know about legalism and the legalese, which is a language for legalism or lawyer talk. And basically all the lawyers are politicians. So that'll tell you a big story right there. And most of the time a lawyer lies for a living, okay? I'm not saying there's no truthful lawyers, but you'll be hard pressed to find one that isn't forced to lie. It's being a lawyer is like being paid to be a professional liar, or use legalese or legal language to twist facts that can be detrimental to somebody or that can be beneficial to somebody. So it's all about how well you circumvent, while remaining detached, the loopholes of life, the journey of life. And like I said, this is not to like panic people out and, for you to go, oh my God, what am I going to... No, actually, I've learned that, and I'm learning every day, and you keep thinking, well, I learned it once, but lessons keep coming to you until you learn them. And that's learning how to detach. It's almost like not caring, but it's different. It's, you care still, and you have compassion for others and yourself, but when you get into a state of high anxiety about things, it doesn't really accomplish anything. It doesn't do any good. So it's better to detach and just think clearly about it. Contemplation. Okay? Contemplation. Beautiful term. Because it's like meditation on your surroundings. It's not worrying, it's not anxiety, it's just contemplation. Okay? It's almost like meditation. Because you're in a state of mind that's calm. And sometimes, you just have to take a deep breath and relax. So the specter of corporate America is real, and we know it's real. And like I said in a previous video, probably the best way to change it is by thought, since thought is creative. and thinking about what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen, and projecting that energy to whoever is in need, or projecting a different kind of energy to people that are causing the chaos and confusion and pain on this earth. And I talk about that in my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart. I talk about how we can deal and cope with the things, the trials, the tribulations, the obstacles that face us. And I do it in a Native American Taoist way. And there's some Zen in there, and so it's listen to the wind, speak from the heart. And I'm finding more and more people are getting answers from this book, and it is an award-winning book, so I thought I'd mention it. And there is a link down below this video in the the about, it says about, or the description of this video, where I will put that link down there for spiritofcrazyhorse.com, where you can get my book, and the nativeamericantaoist.com, where you can look at some other information and a blog of things that I have written. And that's almost like another book online. That's free. So I really want to tell everybody that as times get more intense, the more centered that you can, keep yourself, the better off you're going to be, and the less you worry about things. And I'm not saying just shine it on, and because there's always strategies that can be used, but you want to use these strategies from a point or a perspective of control, not being out of control. And you want to, if you have to, you even want to study strategies and philosophy like Sun Tzu's Art of War, which isn't just about war, but it's about using their own machinations against them, or knowing what their machinations are so that you can be victorious. There's Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, which is just full of enlightened information. So you need to seek solace in your spiritual world or development, and realize that this is an illusion. But it's good to know what the illusion is. I mean, you have to, my belief is that you have to wake up first to know what you have to detach from. You can't detach from something if you don't know what it is that you're anchored to. Okay? Or how you're anchored. So that's my purpose, is to let you know how you're anchored, how you're being used, how the system works, what's going on. And this is the tip of the iceberg here. And you can look at previous videos I have done. I think there's a little picture of me where up here somewhere, or should be. You can click on that. I think it takes you to my channel. And then a little thing will pop up, on the screen here somewhere, right here somewhere. And that's my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart. Also, I do accept donations because it helps me with this show, and it helps me personally just to survive, okay? So I appreciate it, and I know people do that for me, and I want to thank them because they truly appreciate what I have to say, and I know that. So enough said about that. But anyway, that's all I have to say today, and I want to say one more thing. Peace be with you.